Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many guys that have come out of Holland. Ernesto Hoost, Rob Kamen. I mean, just Peter Ertz. Just a sea of killers. Rico Verhoeven, the guy who's the champ right now.
He's the man.
Oh, he's an animal. He's an animal.
Remember that guy that
Can you come closer a little bit? Closer. Go closer.
Yeah, for me, it was like, why not accept the challenge? It is, like you said, he's considered arguably like one of the best boxers to ever do it. So what an honor and what an opportunity I have. I've conquered everything within the sport of kickboxing, and now getting the opportunity to do it within the sport of boxing, I love it. Like, never get comfortable.
It's like this, there's two men in a ring, two fighting men. We're not getting somebody that's had one pro fight pulling off the street. We've got somebody that's boxed, that's been in kickboxing since he was a baby. Yeah, he's had, I don't know, he's had 80 odd fights, and he's had 13 undisputed title defenses for the last 12 or 13 years. You know, this is a serious fighting man, the best. He'll go down in history. He's already in the history books. It won't be done again, what he's achieved in kickboxing.
Oh, they're both fun.
You can say both.
Both. Steak and eggs. 5-minute sparring rounds. Rage music. Sprints. Beach canoe.
Rico Verhoeven, even stepping into a completely different sport, is leaving no doubt about his intentions. He has been clear that he's ready to fight Alexander Usyk and genuinely believes his raw power can conquer the undisputed champion. He's shown up in such terrifying 270-pound shape, leaving Joe Rogan absolutely speechless, proving he is mentally prepared for a brutal fight at the Pyramids of Giza, not just a crossover exhibition. This isn't just a spectacle, it's a collision of worlds now. And Verhoeven is ready to use his massive 55-pound size advantage to shock the globe once and for all.
Yeah. So, do you do a lot of strength and conditioning? Like, what are your workouts like, as opposed to like how much skill work do you do and how much strength and conditioning work?
I think it's pretty even balanced out. I think I train strength like 3 times a week, but even my strength routine is so balanced out with doing strength, and in the same muscle group I also do conditioning. So first I do low reps and then I do a lot of reps, because these muscles aren't supposed to be big. They need to be strong, and they need to be making the same punch 50 times with the same strength. So not 10 times really hard, no, 50 times on the same strength, the same level. So that's how we approach that. And then we got skill training like 2-3 times a week, like pad work. I got explosive training, so I try to always look also at different sports, at soccer, at American football, and at ice skating, and they all have a certain type of explosiveness that they train in a certain way. So I try to pick everything from everywhere and work with that. So we created a training that we just use for being explosive. So it has nothing to do with endurance, because it's maybe like 45 minutes and it's just a few seconds. Bam! You go back. Go, you come back.
The internet completely lost its collective mind when a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience hit the airwaves. Rogan, a man who has seen every freak athlete on the planet, looked genuinely stunned while reacting to fresh training footage of the kickboxing legend. If you remember Rico Verhoeven from his early K1 days, you probably picture a tall, somewhat lanky striker. Not anymore. Rogan was staring at an absolute beast who is packed on terrifying amounts of muscle, sitting at a mountainous 270 pounds. Joe bluntly called him an animal and a warrior fully prepared to go out on his shield. When a veteran commentator like Rogan is left speechless by a fighter's sheer physical mass, you know we are dealing with a freak of nature who doesn't even look human anymore.
My childhood wasn't the easiest. I started off living with my mom, and at the age of around 6, I started living with my dad because my mom just had her own, like, mentally, she had some problems. So with drinking and some drugs, and yeah, back then it was pretty tough. And then coming to my dad, it was a lot better, but it was really strict. Like, my dad has been a martial artist like his whole life. So he actually started with Kyokushin karate. Then during a tournament, he got injured. So he started teaching, and that's when he brought me to the gym. That was at the age of 6. For the people that don't know Kyokushin karate, these guys are tough. So they fight, but without gloves. So, and they cannot punch the face, but they punch the body, but with bare knuckles. So, and they are allowed to kick the head as well. These guys are like on another level. So that's where he came from, and that's how he started teaching me kickboxing with the Kyokushin influences. But also with his background mentally and his discipline, and that's how I grew up. So I was, especially when I was younger, that we had moments it was pretty hard to say.
This unbelievable physical transformation perfectly matches the bizarre, legendary scale of the event itself. Billed as Glory in Giza, this isn't happening in a standard Las Vegas casino. The ring is being built directly in front of the Great Pyramid, making it the first major world title fight to ever take place at the iconic Ancient Wonder. But the visuals aren't the only thing catching heat. In a move that feels equal parts theatrical and controversial, the WBC is not only putting their official heavyweight crown on the line, but they have also forged a custom ceremonial belt just for this night, dubbed the King of the Nile, and decorated with Egyptian symbols like the Eye of Horus. It proves the organizers are treating this like a mythological clash of titans rather than a standard title defense. With ancient history setting the stage, the kickboxer is carrying a terrifying level of confidence into the desert. Verhoeven is completely unfazed by the fact that he is stepping into the realm of a master technician. In fact, he sees his monstrous physical frame as the ultimate equalizer. Relying on what is estimated to be a massive 50 to 55 pound weight advantage, Rico has issued a chilling promise to the undisputed champion, boldly claiming he will knock his opponent's head clean off the second he lands a flush shot. He isn't viewing this as a chance to survive. He is a man who has conquered every challenge in his own sport and genuinely believes his raw, unadulterated power will shatter the boxing world's illusion of invincibility.
Ring.
Right.
I still, all day, every day of the week, sorry mate, I think he'll get his, I think Alexander will deal with him, but it'll be interesting to see because he's very confident.
Can we get into this? I mean, obviously you see weaknesses in Usyk.
Everybody-
And let me tell you, his people listen to this show, and whatever you're telling us now live in TalkSport will probably end up
In their
with
laps.
them,
Yeah.
in their laps.
Yeah.
But if you want to tell us in as much or as little detail as you're going to, from the first bell, what are you going to do?
Knock his head off. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm, like you said, I'm like 55 pounds heavier. So as soon as I hit him, it's gonna be something different.
You're going to knock his head off.
Of course.
I think he's only been knocked down once. He's never been knocked, and that was a low blow. He's never been knocked down. You're going to have to go some, Rico.
Oh, what an opportunity I have here. I'm gonna shock the world in front of the pyramids in this crazy scene. It's like, oh my God, I love it. That's why I'm so excited.
I mean, tell me about your punch power. What is your knockout capacity? I mean, you can see Usyk in front of you.
I'm always like very calculated, but yeah, when I connect, I connect. Like I said, there's a lot of weight behind these punches. So yeah, of course, within the kickboxing sport, I was used to just throwing the kicks and doing my thing, but now we get the opportunity to use the hands more. So Peter is like, oh, he's like crazy excited. He's like, finally, because we've been throughout all these years, we've been debating so much because he's like, yo, Rico, you got to do a little bit more of this. You got to I said, Pete, I can't because within kickboxing, that doesn't work. And now he's like, okay, I can teach you boxing to box.
But behind the heavy trash talk and the epic scenery lies a massive controversy that has the boxing community absolutely enraged. How does a 36-year-old fighter whose entire boxing resume consists of a single second-round knockout from over a decade ago bypass the entire top 15 mandatory rankings? Journalists and veteran fighters, including heavyweight David Allen, who has actually sparred with Rico, are demanding answers.
It's for the WBC World Heavyweight title. Now, Usyk, I don't mind Usyk doing his exhibitions. I'm not interested in watching him. There we go. Another child. What's up? Yeah. Oh, wow. So, it's for the WBC World title. I'm not sure how. How can that be sanctioned? I don't know. Rico. He's a good boxer. I sparred Rico years ago. And he can box. I sparred in 2014. And he can box. But he had one pro fight, I think, at a lower level and won it. Possibly, I don't know much about kickboxing. I'm told he's one of the best kickboxers in history. Great. But how this can get sanctioned for a world heavyweight, a genuine bona fide heavyweight championship belt, I'm not sure. What about the top 15 rankings? What about mandatories? What about... Yeah, I don't get it. What about the other belts he's got? What about the IBF and the BA? Why are they not on the line? Why? I don't like it really. I don't like how he's coming from another sport. I had one pro fight and fight for the World Heavyweight Championship. What is meant to be the belt. I don't like that. I don't agree with it. You should earn.
You're defending your WBC crown against who? Why not Agate Kabayar? Why not Fabio Wardley? I thought, what happened with you and Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder? How about any of those guys out there? Atama Moses, all those guys. Why a kickboxing champion? So let's break this all down. I'm going to tell you guys why now. First of all, let's touch on why not any of those fighters I mentioned. Number one, availability. Alexander Usyk did call out Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, but Deontay Wilder, as he should, needed a tune-up. And honestly, so does Alexander Usyk, but we'll get to that in a minute. Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder is not available for a May fight because he's fighting in April against Derek Chisora. Fabio Wardley, Fabio Wardley is actually fighting in May against Daniel Dubois, which happens to be the same month as Alexander Usyk is fighting Rico. So he's not available. Atama Moses, well, he's fighting Jermaine Franklin in March, just next month. So he's not available. But Agit Kabayal, who is the WBC interim champion and mandatory for Alexander Usyk. Why not Agit Kabayal? Well, according to Mauricio Suleiman, Alexander Usyk, who hasn't fought since July 2025, he needed a tune-up before he takes on a dangerous fighter like Agit Kabayal.
And he requested a voluntary title defense, which is very customary. He was given that opportunity, and he must fight the interim champion next. That's the ruling.
Usyk must fight the interim champion next, after his next fight.
After his voluntary defense, yes.
Which is fine by Agit Kabayal. He put out an ex-post saying, hey, look, fine, I'll be fighting Usyk next. It's pretty much confirmed that he's the mandatory challenger for Usyk's WBC title next. So it makes sense, Alexander Usyk not fighting any of those other guys like Fabio Wardley, like Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder, or Moses, because they're not available. And Agit Kabayal, he wants a tune-up before he fights him, which makes sense. He'll be gone for like a year. He requested it from the WBC. They accepted it. So he'll be fighting Agit Kabayal after his...
They acknowledge Rico's athletic prowess, but the idea that the sanctioning bodies approved a legitimate unified heavyweight title fight for a guy who is practically 1-0 in the sport has sparked massive outrage. It feels like a complete disregard for the contenders who have spent their entire lives bleeding for a chance at that belt.
Fans are like, oh, you know, this and that. What is your response to those people who say you shouldn't get a WBC title fight?
Totally understand. I totally understand, because yeah, it's their sport. It's what they love and what they defend, of course. But I think we're in a totally different time than 5 or 10 years ago, and I think everything just keeps on developing, and it's such on a broader and bigger scale than it ever was. And especially if you look at it now, I remember the time like before we had the Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury fight. I saw a lot of like posts on social media of like, hey, boxing is dead, boxing is not out there anymore, this, that, blah, blah. But then His Excellency came and he put up the big fight versus Francis Ngannou and Tyson Fury, and all eyes were on it. And I think that's when everything within the world of boxing became back to being relevant and as big as it is today. I think it's been a long time since it's been here. And why is that? Because I think His Excellency goes right when everybody's going left. So he's just thinking outside the box, and everybody wants to keep it in that exact box. But yeah, why not go outside the box? I love the idea.
Do you have any idea why the IBF or WBA belts that he holds aren't on the line as well?
No, sir. I have no clue.
Okay.
That outrage is fueled by the firm belief among purists that this match is a devastating mismatch waiting to happen. Elite trainers like Shane McGuigan and former champions like Chris Algieri have been brutally honest about Rico's chances. 0. They argue that stepping into the squared circle strips the kickboxer of half his arsenal. Without the threat of devastating leg kicks, his entire stance and rhythm are compromised. More importantly, he is facing Alexander Usyk, an elusive phantom who has completely neutralized the biggest punchers in boxing.
One for myself, just wanted to quickly get your thoughts on Usyk against Verhoeven, obviously in a couple of weeks' time, but yeah, just your thoughts and feelings on that fight.
Yeah, I feel like there's levels to this game. As a kickboxer, he's always going to be up against the guy who's a master at boxing. I don't think he's got a chance at all.
The experts are warning that despite his mountainous size, Rico simply does not have the one-punch, lights-out power needed to catch a defensive genius. To them, there are levels to this game, and a novice boxer cannot outsmart a grandmaster. Yet, a growing faction of analysts refuse to write off the giant just yet, pointing to a recent earth-shattering precedent. The ghost of Francis Ngannou's shocking performance against Tyson Fury is currently haunting the betting lines. Respected voices like Max Kellerman and promoter Eddie Hearn are reminding everyone that athletes crossing over from different disciplines bring chaotic, unorthodox rhythms that traditional boxers simply cannot read. They look at history, guys like Vitaly Klitschko and Dillian White who transitioned from kickboxing to incredible success, and wonder if Rico's strange angles and heavy hands could create a glitch in the matrix. Heavyweight contender Jarrell Miller is even publicly backing Rico to pull off the ultimate upset, hoping that unpredictable crossover magic strikes again.
Rico is very game. He's not no punk. So I'm going to throw up one in the air and say Rico, man. I came up on the kickboxing scene with Rico Verhoeven, Glory and K1. Phenomenal fighter in his respectable sport. If you want to go by the statistics, yes. The fight's favorite, Usyk, yes. Usyk's supposed to win, all that, yes. We can say that, but I'm going with my boy Rico.
The division between the purists and the spectacle chasers has birthed an incredibly chaotic narrative, with some insiders actively rooting for the sport to burn. Combat sports personality Wade Plemons recently delivered a viral rant expressing deep frustration over these relentless crossover spectacle fights. Ironically, Plemons stated he actually wants the kickboxing king to brutally dominate the undisputed champion. His logic, a humiliating, catastrophic loss for boxing's pound-for-pound king is the only way to teach the executives a lesson. If an outsider completely obliterates the champion, maybe the sanctioning bodies will stop disrespecting legitimate contenders and finally put an end to these unearned title shots.
The fight, in fact, I think the fight is going to be a fun one. I think Usyk's probably going to wash Rico, but hey, you never know. Francis walked in there, knocked down Tyson, jiggled his balls in his face, and ended up almost beating him. So yeah, I'll watch this. It's an entertainment fight. It's a crossover fight, and while I think that Alexander Usyk has bigger fish to fry in the heavyweight division, when KBL is a mandatory, I thought, for Alexander Usyk, there is, for other sanctioning bodies like the WBO, you have Fabio Wardley and Daniel Dubois. You have that fight about to happen, so the winner of that is going to, I thought, fight Usyk. And then you have Tyson Fury waiting in the wings. There's Moses Italma waiting in the wings. There's a lot of odd stuff happening here with the sanctioning bodies. And I'm going to tell you this now. This is what leaves a sour taste in my mouth about this fight. The sanctioning bodies are going to, and they already are, digging their own graves with stuff like this. They are. They are digging their own graves, because the more they do stuff like this, Rico Verhoeven, no reason, no business he should be fighting for a heavyweight championship in boxing. Yes, in kickboxing, very different. Him coming over and fighting for this, and essentially his second boxing match, Rico fought a guy named Janos Finfera and knocked him out cold. I mean,
you would have watched Fury versus Ngannou, and no one gave Ngannou a chance. And maybe some people thought that Tyson Fury lost that fight. Do you take inspiration from that someone can't come from a different discipline and upset the fighters, the boxers?
100%, but I don't look at other people. I look at myself, and I look at the opportunity I have and the capabilities I have to do this. So comparing myself to Francis is not a comparison, because I've been boxing with Peter Fury for 15 years. So, and of course, I was boxing to kickbox, but I've been in and around boxing for such a long time.
You expect to beat Alexander Usyk May 23rd?
Of course. Well, let's say, of course. I think, in my opinion, I believe I can do it.
When the opening bell rings under the Egyptian sky, all the debates, the sanctioning scandals, and the viral podcast reactions will fade into the background. We are left with a fascinating, high-stakes experiment. Can a monstrous 270-pound physical anomaly with a 55-pound weight advantage shatter the flawless technique of the greatest heavyweight boxer alive? Or will the undefeated champion absolutely school the kickboxer and prove that pure skill always conquers raw size? It's a collision of worlds that you simply cannot look away from. Who do you think walks out of the pyramids with the undisputed crown? Drop your prediction in the comments below and let me know if this fight is a historic masterpiece or a total insult to the sport. That's all for today. If you enjoyed it, remember to leave a like, subscribe, and ring that bell icon so you never miss our upcoming videos. And don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments section. Stay tuned and we will catch you in the next video.